welcome to KG5 for a blockbuster in the PFD Women's Super League. This is a massive game ever since their round 3 clash. They've been looking forward to the next meeting between these two teams, the Hobart Zebras and Olympia Warriors, both undefeated since that day. The Zebras, I think, have extended it to 18 from 18 in all competitions this year. They're absolutely flying. The Warriors have been very impressive too, though, and just that one slip up back in round 3, the difference between the sides after 11 weeks as we kick off round 12. Here to call this one with me on my right hand side, Paul Hunt. Funty, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Andrew Collins. Pleasure to be here for this blockbuster double header. Obviously the first one being the Women's Super League match. We have here Zebras Olympia 1v2. I was very much admiring your stats work in the preview, showing what the rest of their form against the rest of the competition. 20 games, 20 wins, 107 goals, 18 against. I thought that was some of your finest work, but it just shows that these two are the well-deserved 1 and 2 in this competition. Olympia with the one loss, but that's against this Zebras team who obviously took out the statewide cup, I think, a fortnight ago here at KGV. I was very impressed with their performance, but Olympia as well, especially with the imports that they've got that we'll get to very soon, are a very dangerous opportunity. So Zebras cannot rest on their laurels, and I think it's going to be a tight one here tonight.
As we have a look at the table, Launceston City in third, not out of it. They'll be rooting pretty hard for the draw tonight, I would have thought, or if not, probably an Olympia win, just so they can try and bridge that gap a little bit. They're probably long shots at this stage, though. Just not enough games these top teams can drop, really, you'd think, for them to be in the calculations, but they're there if these two were to slip up. They haven't yet, as you can see, with those unbeaten records against everyone else. And we start with the Hobart Zebras, fairly expected 11 as far as they're concerned. They've had a fair bit of stability in there. We've got a Lenny Nellis starting, and that immediately catches my eye. That's Emily. We've still not fixed that one up from the cup final with Lenny/Emily. She'll line up at right back today, I think, for the Zebras. Number 9, Ali Berry. She's been playing great in the midfield, a former Olympia Warrior and former Clarence player as well. She's having a superb season and was very much one of the keys in their victory back in round 3, as was Alyssa Bowden and Georgia Bird in the midfield. That midfield 3 really helped them control things, and it's going to be a crucial area tonight for them trying to get the upper hand against the likes of Innocent Michael and Georgia Crawford in there for the Warriors. Maddie Graham, I expect, will line up at right back. Shelley Cook in goals. She's an inclusion from that clash. Not that Adele Jarvis was overly worked in Zebra's thumping win in round 3, but Shelley Cook's come back in and been fantastic, as has number 2, Kayla Mason. I think she was either playing centre-back or defensive midfield in that game, but nowadays she's starting at left-back, just slotted in all over the place and doing the job nicely this year, Kayla Mason. Number 12, Zoe Nichols, gets another start. That's I like to see, just a real eye for goal up top, Zoe Nichols. She knows how to stick them away, and that could be critical tonight. Number 10, Danielle Canagiza, is enjoying a fine season. He's the side's top scorer. She'll start on the left, I reckon, cutting in onto the right, or perhaps on the right, but certainly a potent threat up top. Maddie O'Brien will line up in the heart of defence and has been doing very nicely there. Laura Spandler will be the other of that attacking trio. Some good options on the bench with Jess Harris and Sarah Morris. They've both been heavily involved at times this year. The Mouse sisters sitting down there, and Adele Jarvis, the backup keeper. So that is the Zebras for this crunch clash. And we'll move on now to the Olympia Warriors. And certainly some very handy ins after that game. They've only got stronger. You only need to look at the bench to see how strong they are and see the likes of Olivia Bomford and Sophie Lazinski, who've been starting most weeks. Just a ticket on the pine for them. So they're a very well-oiled machine. Number 11, Madeline Blackman, having a quietly effective year there. Number 15, Arani Cavaretta, just getting back to speed after an extensive layoff. She's back in the mix and pure class at the back. Number 12, Emily Craw, can be used in a number of positions. I think we might see her in defence today. We'll wait and see on that one. Number 8, Georgia Crawford, having a fantastic year in the midfield, as is Bonnie Davies, number 7, probably the fastest player in the league. Absolute lightning is Bonnie Davies, and she'll be one to look out for tonight. Could well be a real batter of the speedsters if she was to line up against Kayla Mason. Madoka Ishida, one of the 2 Japanese imports, with Rina Tanaka, the other one, have really just added some extra potency to this lineup. Speaking of potency, number 10, Lucy Johnson, the Terminator, just puts them away. He cannot be stopped. Just pillages goals for fun. Number 1, Margot Johnson, will line up between the sticks. Number 6, Innocent Michael, one of the very best midfielders going around. And it's really at times when they've been winning by such large margins, barely got out of third gear, still been in the top for your players on the pitch. But we're looking for a big performance from Indy tonight. Down at the back, Caitlin Roberts is a very reliable centre-half, having a good year, very versatile player, very comfortable on the ball, and will be important to the way they look to play out, which was an area of problem for them in round 3. The Zebras jumped all over them on the smaller Warrior Park. Will they be able to do that tonight, though? At KG5, Paul Hunt.
That's a very, very good question. You've identified just the amount of great matchups there are here tonight. You've obviously identified the pace. Bonnie Davis, I also recall Arani Cavaretta have a good turn of pace on her as well. So that against Kayla Mason. And then obviously in the middle of the park, it's probably going to be, it'd be very interesting to see who Zebras whether they decide to mark Innocent Michael or just double team or just shift around that midfield 3 they play just to combat that dynamic midfield of Olympia. I'd expect a few of their players in on that. And then obviously up top you've got Lucy Johnson having to face Maddie O'Brien, who was close enough to best on park for the statewide cup final here a couple of weeks ago. So some enthralling contests all over the pitch, and to be honest, I think this one's too close to cold calling.
Yeah, it's going to be a cracking matchup. 5-1 was the score last time they played, which seems unbelievable, but I don't think there were any 18th birthdays on Thursday nights, which I believe might just have been a factor the last time these two teams met. So
it's a school night. They might have been there all day if that's a factor.
Yeah, so perhaps that will be in the Warriors' favour. This is a Friday night fixture this time, as the two captains, Maddie O'Brien and Innocent Michael, shake hands for the coin toss in there. Two of the best in the business right there.
Maddie O'Brien there going with the gloves, which is not a surprise here at KJV this Friday night.
There's a very astute move from O'Brien. It is damn cold out here.
Yeah.
It's been raining, which has ceased, and should just mean the pitch plays quite nicely, I thought.
It should do. I was more worried about the wind as I was thinking about the match this afternoon when I was leaving about an hour ago. It was absolutely blowing a gale, got up to 60 kilometres an hour apart today, so I thought that might be a factor. I mean, it's just died down a little. But the surface, while it's very slick here at KGV here most of the time, it's going to be even slicker with that small downpour we've had today. We'll see who that plays advantage to the most. I think, given that both teams are the pacey type, it may even just equal themselves out. It's not necessarily that, with the pace you can get that ball in behind and get in there to the advantage of another team. They've both got really good pace on them. So it'll be a very, very interesting matchup here as we're about to get underway here at KGV under lights for this Women's Super League. Straight back to Innocent Michael, but well closed down past Stormy Challenge. You see Ali Berry. And those fluoro boots going to be very easy to spot here during the night sky here calling.
They are very loud from Berry, and she's the type of player who will back up those boots. She's an absolute star this season. Roberts seems to be playing it right back here for the Warriors today. And this one's knocked into the middle. It's going to be turned over. But the flag's been raised, so the Warriors can build from the back, and Innocent Michael dropping back quite deep as well. And a really key player for these Warriors tonight, I think, because this one is shifted out wide to Rita Tanaka into Davies, and now Cavaretta, who's slotted in quite nicely into the centre-back role. And here's O'Brien, who's terrific form, as you mentioned, was fantastic in that cup final as Kanagisa is fouled there by Tanaka.
Cavaretta typically a centre-back. I recall her playing, I've seen her play right wing before. I don't know if that a recent move.
Certainly since she's come back into this Warriors side, that's where they've slot her in. They've got plenty of attackers and probably less defenders, so when you're as versatile as Cavaretta, you kind of just get shoehorned in there a little bit, similar perhaps to what we've seen with Maddie O'Brien at Zebras. Perhaps a more natural midfielder heading into the season, but has done a fantastic role in there as Michael takes it around Burton and look to get away, but this one's picked off down there by Graham, who plays it off the speedy Davies, who rather ambitiously put the hand up for the throw in. I don't think she's getting that one.
Nah, that was fairly blamed, but good play from Graham. Just skid off a little bit to start with, but kept it under control well. Looks in the direction of DK, but it's just flicked overhead and then cleared from Cavaretta, Matt O'Brien, and Miss Johnson starting that battle already. Nice speed down the sideline. Sorry, that's actually one of the imports. I think that's the shooter. The shooter, thank you. I know we said Tanaka then. Obviously, are lining up in defence rather than up top, but there is. I'll take Tanaka.
Interesting. Lucy Johnson starting on the right. It'll be dangerous cutting in on that left foot as this one's crossed by Davies and volleyed by Johnson straight into Kayla Mason. They took the brunt of the shot and did it well, but in the blink of an eye there, the cross came in. And Johnson coming close. Good positioning from Mason.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was expecting Johnson to line up in the centre forward role, but as you say, just down on that right wing and letting Sheeta take that role, and we can see why. Just looking to see him play that ball in behind, but Kayla Mason will clear that one out to DK. Tries to get around Tanaka, who as well is rocking the fluoro boots, which is what we like here on the night. Okay, KGV, but good defence there on Kanagiza, not letting that ball go any further forward.
Yeah, it's an easy way to become a favourite up here in this box. Just where something flashy is. This one's over the top, and Burt didn't really deal with the problem of Blackman, who looks to make some inroads down the left. Sliding in there was Nellis with a terrific challenge. Well done there.
That's the other way to get in favour up here at the Slice and Cheese commentary box. Crunching tackles, but fair tackles like that. Good work, Nellis.
Yeah, it was an important one. She's going to have her hands full tonight, especially with the speed of Davies. As this one's played from Burt to Berry and deflected out. And interestingly, it looks like Nellis has moved in to centre of defence, and Monique Undy shifted out to fullback, probably to counter that pace threat that's brought about by Davies. So I think an astute move there by Chris Hay.
Yeah, Chris Hay's clearly done his homework, as well as looking back at probably the game before, had a look at the last few games when they've changed lineups. That's probably a clear foul there. And Graham on Tanaka. Fairly clear-cut foul there. We'll see what they decide to do from this free kick. I'm surprised if they try and maybe get a better angle to whip it in. We see what Tanaka was about to play on from the free kick then. So we see lining up. There is calls for it at the back post, so this may go in the Johnson direction. Ends up near post, and Shelley Cook, first touch of the night, just skimming off the turf. You never know what they're going to do, so just keeping that one nice and composed as Cook, and then beautiful kick out. Unfortunately, just couldn't quite get under control, but has done now. And we see the foul. What did they handball?
Yeah, handball against Michael, I reckon that one was. So O'Brien takes over and swings it down the middle. Cavaretta misses it, but Johnson will be able to sweep up and get it. Margot Johnson sends him off running there. Davies wants to collect the ball, works it to Crawford, played a lovely one too. Beautiful ball that from Crawford, and Nellis speeds away down the wing. She's flying off there. Look at her go. Nellis tracking and has enough to Corolla, sends it into the middle. Unfortunately, picked out Ali Berry there, and now it might be the Zebras back the other way before they go to Nichols. Michael in on her and wins it away nicely there, innocent Michael. She'll just sit in front of the back forward tonight and do all that dirty work, and she gets tumbled down there, but
crucial challenge on Nichols there, as the both wingers for Zebras were overlapping there, so great pressure there from innocent Michael, clearly playing that holding midfield role, and going very well so far, as we see Olympia looking to attack now, but can't really get full ball given away to Nichols, who's going to jink inside. Only got Michael to beat. Tries to play it side towards DK. I'm looking for the offside flag, not given. And you see the through ball there. Not going to anyone in particular, and Cavaretta should pick that one up. Plays it inside to Tanaka, who tries to go down the wing to Bonnie Davies, which appears to be the main outlet for Olympia tonight. And eventually, on out 4A Warriors throw in. They've certainly focused on this near grandstand side so far, the first 6 minutes.
Yeah, really looking to utilise Davies as an outlet at every possible chance, and why not? He's a line breaker. This one's punted forward in the Crawford direction. He headed it, and that was cut out by Graham. And Sheeta gets on it. Looking to run inside here. So it only picks out Kayla Mason, who read it well, and they got round Roberts, and now Kayla Mason just looking the long dance look there tonight, Mason, and charging forward. And again, fair enough, damn cold. Charging here through Spandler, looking to get him behind. She knocks it out in front of herself, and doing just about enough was Craw in defence. Oh, dicey back pass keeps them under pressure. And this is really where they got themselves into trouble in the last meeting between the sides. Their insistence on playing out in every situation. I think probably 3 of the goals came from turnovers there. Speaking of turnovers, Crawford robbing Burt of the ball. O'Brien sends it out, but that was a bit too ambitious for Spandler.
Matty O'Brien had to make that interception as clean through on goal would have been Sheeta. And just found it interesting there when Zebras won the ball high up the field. Didn't have too many options. They had plenty of time. Clearly got that turnover in the front third, which is what they're looking for tonight against this Warriors team. As you mentioned, 3 goals in the first game of the season coming from that situation. And yeah, props to Kayla Mason for the long pants. I mean, it does remind me slightly of a 1990s South American goalkeeper, but I'd do it tonight as well if I had the choice.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably the shorts and the undergarment on is actually being right there, but, you know,
well,
fair enough.
We're a good 80 yards away, let's just guess.
Yeah, it's a wise decision.
Yeah.
Bloody awful out there, to be frank, as Cook picks this one up and
hey, it's only 6:15.
Yeah, bracing myself, but now it's forward, but Burt tracking back. Did plenty of work in the last one. Nellis gets herself into trouble here, just scrambled out of it though, and Cook thumps it away down the middle. Crawl was there, so too was Roberts. And he sets it out in front of her. Yeah, this will be picked off. And Burt, 3 players really just letting it run there for the next. Eventually the Warriors pick it back up and work it back to Tanaka. She swings it inside. A little flick. Johnson was there again. Doing some nice work, and from the ground played a good through ball, but she'll get the free kick.
Good advantage nearly played there from the referee. Just waited to see if that through ball would eventuate. Probably would have rolled straight to Monique Undy, so a good call there for the free kick. And I imagine we will see Lucy Johnson over this one. Everyone else is actually cleared off, so we've got the choice of 1 for this free kick taker.
Yeah, I think the rest of the team's pretty well dribbled here. They know there's only one person who's going to be getting this one. And why not? Unstoppable goal scoring machine, Lucy Johnson. What she got in her locker here? It's a fair way out. Shelley Cook daring it to go over the wall. She does just that and picks out the bottom corner. Lucy Johnson with a superb free kick, and the Warriors take the lead.
Pick that out. Lucy Johnson with a fantastic curling free kick. Shelley Cook almost dared her to go over the wall, and there she did. And she succeeded in that there, so take a look at that replay. 4 in the wall, just 30-odd yards out. Curls it right over the wall. Showing full stretch, and that's right in the bottom corner. Brilliant free kick there from Lucy Johnson.
Not fitting a free kick there on that. Picked out the corner to perfection, and she's off again here, Johnson. She's charging down the wing here. Mason doing well to stick with her and slides in to put it behind. And the threat of Lucy Johnson ever present here early on.
Yeah, even now, not necessarily a natural rolling at their right wing, but no, that's just a fantastic free kick. Johnson's got the chance again from this corner to whip one into a dangerous area. As we can just tell from the corner flag, there's still a bit of wind out there. KGV tonight. As we'll see. Johnson aim right into the mixer. Shelley Cook can't quite get their touch from Ishida, who whips it back in. So cleared off the line there from Zebras. Nice touch from Ishida. As we have a look at that replay, just floated over to the back post, took a touch. Yeah, touch inside, hit with the left, and then I think that's cleared from O'Brien on the line, actually, judging by the red headband. You see that ball whipped in again, but Mason clears. Again, but back through the fluoro boots. Ishida. Foul given, and that'll just relieve some of the pressure on Zebras. Certainly got to say, as well as the goal, Olympia have had a good run of play here tonight so far. You see Kanagiza get on the ball, but didn't quite find Barry in the middle, and Innocent Michael just directing traffic there in the middle of the park. It's been very impressive to watch. Up close, that's clearly a foul after the play, but advantage given, and crossfield ball to Johnson, who's made that through ball, but just offside. Manages to dink it around the keeper. Offside call given. Not sure, can't quite see that on the replay, but look, I certainly saw that diagonal run in behind Taylor Mason being made. Not sure on that decision, but good intent from Olympia, and it's clear that they're trying to exploit the flanks here tonight.
Yeah, they've started well, the Warriors. They've got a point to prove. They've finally got a chance to make up some ground. They've been winning every week, but so too have the Zebras, so that gap has remained at 3 points for the last couple of months. tonight they finally have the chance to do something about it. And they've made a very positive start in that endeavour. Flicked on to Michael, volleys it down. Bowden battling with Blackman, one away, but Eddie Michael jumps in there. Berry tracking back. Ishida, innocent Michael storming through with a bit of space to shoot and tugs her effort just wide of the post. But she is the box-to-box predator is Michael. She'll do the work in defence at one end and more than capable of making things happen at the other.
Yeah, showing the box-to-box potential there. Not standard defensive midfielder. I was going to make the obvious stereotypical comment of the defensive midfielder getting in the nosebleed section up there, but Miss Michael is not that type of player. Very, very well-rounded player there in the central midfield. So another opportunity for Olympia. Probably had a good 3 or 4 so far tonight already. As we see, Shelley Cook got 2 options short, but I imagine this will go long, and it does in the direction of Spandler. Mason beaten out to the head, and the ball just thumped into the night sky. There's Maddie Blackman underneath it, effectively cleared from O'Brien, trying to cover for Mason, who gets the ball and expertly wins the throw-in for the Zebras. Got 2 options short. Ends up going long, but that's going to go all the way through to the Olympia defence. Can't quite get that challenge, but Ali Berry will pick that one up in the centre of the park. Played out to Mason, who'll walk back inside for the run of, I think that's Burt, but no luck. Sorry, that's Alyssa Bowden in there, my apologies. And Tanaka now on the ball for Olympia on the right wing, who's ended up with the throw in. Again, Olympia attacking down this left-hand side. And looking for Michael, but no luck there. So effectively cleared from Berry, but Tanaka will get a repeat. Try and find some feet this time. Looks down the line. Direction of Davies, who's still got Undy for company. And clears that effectively, but only as far as Michael, who again is looking for that crossfield ball through Johnson. Doesn't work off, but then just hustles back, gets the ball, and Olympia can reset.
Yes, a couple of times Michael has picked the pocket of Zoe Nichols here. Perhaps he's seeing the extra midfielder tracking back, and they've almost got themselves into trouble here. Here's Cavaretta playing out there past Kanagiza, who is pressing well. Now Undy wins it back for the Zebras. She sends it long, and Nichols had a pocket of space. Cavaretta stepped in one of the way. Craw flicked up there by Nichols, and away again in the direction of Blackman. Georgia Burt should be able to control this. She shoots it wide to Bowden, who probably had her best game of the year the last time these two met. And out there on it now is Crawford for the Warriors, who'll play it back to Craw. Thanks for something to present. In the end goes through Michael. They send it out the other side for Rashida. And looking for the direct option. Bit of miscontrol there from Nellis. Might just have let in Bonnie Davies, surging down the wing again. Cuts it back in. She's done well and crosses to the top of the box. And arriving Crawford won't get a chance because Nellis had grabbed at the shirt of Davies.
Yeah, both the shirt and a bit of a late challenge there, so it's certainly worth a talking to from the referee. Probably a little early for a cheese, but just see that miscontrol let Davies run right down the wing, and she turns expertly. There's shirt pull, and late challenge. Take your pick.
Yeah, fair decision there. And there's going to be a pretty sharp chance for Crawford if there was an advantage. So Johnson will try and curl something in, and they'll be looking to curl this one right into the mixer, given a couple of struggles dealing with crosses early in this one. We'll be trying to put this one around about the 6-yard box. What has Lucy Johnson got? The range is starting to fall here at KG5, and Johnson swings it in, and Cook fumbles. Gathered the rebound, and every time they've killed one in, there's had a runner right at the feet, just testing their hands, but Cook recovered it well again and then flumps it down the middle. There was Caitlin Roberts. Lovely turn that from Crawford. Lovely stuff from her in the midfield. She started strongly. Kanagiza working it forward, just left it behind there, did Roberts for Spandler. There's Warriors across covering, and Craw wins the battle and wins it well. And then took a touch inside. That was dangerous, but got away with it. And now Roberts with a bit of space to operate in. It's around Spandler. Very good on the ball. This is Roberts. On the line, Lucy Johnson making a searching lead there, but Undy Watching it closely, fed it through for Annie Michael. Michael's now got the overlap as an important intervention there from Nellis. Had to win that or they were in at the back. Nichols looking to pressure Cavaretta. Back to Johnston. One of the most emphatic of clearances. Very cleverly straight to Nichols. They link up with a 1-2 and then immediately looking to release Spandler. The Warriors' defence holding firm. They've not been asked too many questions yet in this one. The only real problems they've had have been brought about by themselves, passing out. But they're struggling to get a foothold in attack here at the moment. Really able to keep them under any sort of sustained pressure.
Yeah, just not being able to quite connect with their passes in the forward third as Zebras tonight. You can see the intent, especially looking to Nichols in the centre, as both the Olympia centre backs spread quite wide, I've noticed, especially when they're in attack. So clearly trying to exploit that as we make from the tactical tangent as Olympia looking to attack forward. But like there, Bowden plays a nice ball down the left wing. And that's Spandler who's out there, crosses into the box. Cavaretta leaves it for the keeper. And I think that's a foul on Johnson. Risky play from Cavaretta. Clearly got a call, but there was a Zebras player right behind. The foul is given, and Marker quite sure what that retake is for. Certainly wasn't a goal kick unless the ball went out somewhere in there we haven't seen, which appears to be the decision given. One of your rules you'd cancel.
Yeah, add that to the list.
Didn't see that one on the list of new rules this week, so you'll have to get that petition going.
Mate, FIFA is utterly corrupt. They won't hear me as Nichols has a chance here at the byline, crossing, and again they've almost created something for a turnover at the back. He's Burt. Blackman does well to get goal side and just delay it, but works it back to Lundy and doesn't get a chance to smash one in there because Lucy Johnson came across and whacked it into touch. Just a few dicey moments at the back for the Warriors. And we'll give the Zebras heart. These are hustling and bustling and just a bit too much for the referees liking.
Yeah, smart shielding there from Tannis to see. Yeah, looking to play out again. I think it's Craw that's caught on it, and it's just at that awkward height where East has gone for the Ibrahimovic back heel flick, but it's probably her only option in that situation.
Yeah, not a lot she could do, and that's a real feature of Zoe Nichols' game. She's not the type of player you'd ever feel comfortable playing the ball out from the back around, and probably why she definitely got the start tonight, because she's so good at winning the ball back, at pressuring. She does a great job of it, and forced the turnover there, and they almost profit from it, but not today as Johnson drives the Warriors forward, picked out Maddie O'Brien. Davies arrived at the speed of light, but O'Brien saw that coming and just kicked back inside classily. Mason with an untidy pass that couldn't find Spandler. Throw-in taken to Craw. Looks it back to Roberts. Just ran out of room there on the wing, and the Zebras get it back. Mason, throw searching for Berry, cut out by Crawford. Dodgy past that, and lets in Kanagisa, who flicked it first time over the top. But you need to have a look as Nichols not making the run. Craw again pressured by Nichols, but this time out for a goal kick. And that's a real feature to watch out for, I think. They do not want to be careless passing out from the back around Zoe Nichols.
No, and I'm assuming that would have been an instruction from Coach A pre-game, but I think the first 20 minutes has shown that is definitely an option where Zoe Nichols will look to pressure at every opportunity, and again we see Cavaretta immediately closed down by DK, and it's a dicey back by Johnson.
Penalty!
Slides in, and that's a penalty given.
Oh, it's untidy from the back. Look, it's been the story of the game, really. Olympia been very good in the ninth third. Yeah, final third, not so. Yep. Johnson hooks the leg here, and Nichols goes down.
Nichols gets there first, turns the body back, and then it's a sliding tackle from
but
behind.
But it's not, in fact, a penalty, because it's an indirect free. It's a free kick in the box.
There is a referee's course up in a couple of weeks, and I think I'm going to have to take it. How's that not a penalty?
I'm somewhat amused by that decision, has to be said.
And no.
And now, in fact, it is a penalty.
Now, in fact, it is a penalty.
Well,
I was going to say, the keeper didn't pick it up with their hands, which is an indirect free kick, so, yeah.
Yeah, well, we've got there eventually, and the Zebras will get their spot kick.
General confusion around the whole grandstand. It's not just us here in the commentary box.
Well, I guess the Zoe Nichols effect. She did it against Clarence earlier in the year, and she hit that free kick when Clarence Slam was at the other end of the pitch and scored. And Now she's got a penalty. It wasn't a penalty to this one. Anyway, it's going to be Bowden to step up with a chance to square the ledger here for the Zebras. And she does just that. A composed finish from Bowden. And we've got a tied ball game after 22 minutes.
Yeah, good fight back from the Zebras, particularly the last 10 minutes. And Zoe Nichols winning that penalty. Coolly slotted from Melissa Bowden. The 4-step run up. Just opens the body, puts it in the far right corner. Not too many keepers are going to save that one. It's done me. It's 1-1. And if it wasn't already game on, it's game on again. As we see Michael get the kick off. Olympia hanging out wide again. We've seen Johnson move over to this left-hand side. Got 4 options up ahead, including one who's in an acre of space. There's also Sheeta, who's trying to stay onside, but I think she may have been off anyway. Slightly overhit.
Crawford's got to have the shot there.
Yeah.
How much time and space at the top of the box. Did the unselfish thing, but just need to take the shot on.
Yeah, right foot curler I think would have been an option there, but he's just trying to play in the informed striker, and that's another careless pass from Craw. He's just rolling out for a throw in. A good position for Zebras starting on the halfway line. And this is Mason. Play it into the defensive partner, back inside. Hobart, and that's slightly overhit as well, so it's Bowden on the left-hand side of the midfield trio. Throwing taken down the line. Kate Mason will pick that one up, but distributes back to Zebras as DK, who's in an acre of space, manages to get a head on it, but Craw with the covering defence. Goes once, goes twice, and then Michael helps out and wins the ball, looking to play on the counter. Trying to find Johnson down this side, but Bundy will pick that one up, pressured by the import, clearly clipped in the ankle there afterwards. But managed to get the pass away anyway. Good hustle, as Bundy was certainly looking the other way, but just manages to get the pass off in time. And a tangling of legs afterwards, as we see. And a geezer on the ball, plays it inside to Bowden. He eventually gets it back on Burt, but just slightly overhit. They're certainly trying to attack down the wings and through the channels a bit more. Zebras, especially the last 10 minutes.
Well, if I'm Zebras, I'm just trying to get up that end of the pitch and then relying on the Warriors to beat themselves. With this passing out from the back, it's caused some problems. I think that's got to be the approach. Get it up there and win the territory battle. They'll position themselves very nicely. This one's headed up in the F. Flying into it was Davies, did well, and now it's 2-on-1 against Nellis. She did quite well in the end to win the throw from her team with 2 blue shirts around her.
Forward press, I think, is the in vogue word to describe that at the moment. Just get all that front three to motor around and pressure. Surprise, Zebras switch their wingers around. Oh no, that's a feature. What they like to do is you see the throw-in taken again, pressured. Eventually gets back to Undy, who plays it to Nellis, who straight down the throat of Ashita, who's in a lot deeper role than before. Probably just trying to get a few more touches on the ball, but it's well pressured on Burt. Now Bowden pressuring again. This plays past from Olympia, goes straight to O'Brien, and again that forward pressure. Early shot, I think that's from Crawford, I think Blackman, sorry, who's moved up in a more advanced position.
Punched it wide of the post, didn't miss by much there. Johnson pressuring Nellis, and there's a pocket of space, and caught a little by surprise, but didn't quite have the direction on it. There's Chris Hay on the sidelines, just telling the team they're going to win the 50-50s.
Heard that one from up here. Also respect to the crowd out here, all staying in the grandstand rather than going inside.
Either that or they've got our dulcet tones on the screen inside, Funty. It could well be that case. It's just smash forward.
Yeah, that'd clear the bar in any circumstance.
Here's Bowden in the middle. Sends it across to Kayla Mason. Looking forward to Spanler. Patient build up. Well, it was patient build. Bowden decided to just smash one over the top.
I reckon they want the doof-doof back rather than our tones, rather just have the game and then the doof-doof on.
Funty, you're kidding yourself, mate. Don't sell yourself short, son. This one's played out again.
Speaking of selling short, Saltanaka rather short there.
Yeah, did her no favours at all. The Zebras lads sitting next to us here disappear. Big match coming up against the Warriors in the MPL after this one. Probably not as significant in the terms of the league title as this one is for the women tonight. Cavaretta has a fresh airy, but Crawl was across to Cava. Now Undy into the middle for Bowden. Punched it in there for Canagiza. Burt Berry tried to volley it over the top for Nichols and make the sweetest of contact. A real falcon there. And there's a free kick, so this will be in a good position. There's Canagiza on the end of a fair old falcon there, copying a whack, and then Michael coming through and counting a player up, and we have a free kick in a good area here.
It's one for the blooper reel at the end of the season, just right in the face, and then Michael leaves the foot in on Berry.
They just angled very nicely to win that free kick. And a chance over the dead ball from Matty O'Brien. I suspect might opt to shoot.
Yeah, especially given what we've seen before. I think tonight's just that perfect night, just to drop it just in front of the keeper and let it skid, have a few players run in. That'd be my tactic for the rest of the night.
Johnson, good reflex shot stopper and very good with her feet, but at times has struggled to deal with the ones in the top windows. This one swung in that way, and over it goes, and it's 2-1 Zebras. Just chipped it over the top, Johnson was Stanley, and the Zebras have turned this around the lead.
Absolute psychic there, Andrew Cooley. Perfect chip ball there from Matty O'Brien. Clearly found that space in the top corner. Elected not to go over the wall. Not the tallest of goalkeepers is Margot Johnson. And look at that, a beautiful looking pitching wedge. Even did the kind of golf motion after it, did Matty O'Brien. She knew exactly what she was doing there. And 2-1 Zebras, a great comeback already. But I got a funny feeling there's going to be more goals in this game tonight. Only 30 minutes gone. And exquisite free kicks on show tonight. So Chris A barking out more instructions. Wanting a bit more zone rather than man-to-man. So we'll see how that goes as Olympia Warriors have the throw-in on the far side. Not too many options short, so eventually goes long in the direction of Lucy Johnson, but effectively cleared from O'Brien. Now straight to the feet of Cavaretta, who'll try to play it out this left-hand side through Tanaka. Just sells Davies short. Both Johnson and Davies have switched back to their original starting wings. And nice play from Bird, who'll try to play it to the feet of Nichols. Got two runners in the centre. Not quite far enough, and just gets enough on that. Now Michael and Berry battle it. Good contest happening, especially in this Zebras attacking third, right in the line. Now the Olympia are just struggling to get the ball out from that position, as we see Spandler a nice one too, but just slightly overhit for Bowden. Will relieve some of the pressure on Olympia Warriors, as we'll see Roberts look to take the throw in, ends up going back. Oh, and again the centre back pass, and again from Cabaretta, closed immediately down from Canagiza, who's still there harassing. Oh, it's dicey play here from Olympia Warriors. Sometimes, as good as passing football is, you just got to hack it, but here's Davies now on the break. It's 4v3 at the moment for the Warriors, but just manages to find Mason instead of Johnson. And you can see Roberts and Spandler battling for the ball. And Spandler's still got that, just got caught a beat. Looks to go down the left wing. Got two in the box so far. Down on the far side, we'll try and get back on the right foot, whips it in. And Cavaretta effectively clears that one. Again, looking to pass out, and it ends up at Ushida, who'll try to find Tanaka, and again, Zebra's pressing. It's 4v3 here, and again, straight to the Zebras player. Olympia just struggling to pass it out. Unfortunately, Canagiza is offside, and there again, another exhibit of Olympia playing out from the back at all costs calling.
Yeah, well, it put them undone last game, and after a very bright start in this one, threatening to do the same again. I think that's more what I want to see. From the directions, this one's cut out by Graham, who I'm pretty sure we've been calling under your matches. This one's burnt in behind here by Davies, who's charging down there. Davies beats one, didn't beat Nellis though.
Well, it wouldn't be a game without me completely butchering people's surnames, so, or just mistaking people.
Yeah.
Again, apologies out there to Shaker of Launceston City. I've been trying to get that in for the last half hour.
Yeah, see, I was just consistently wrong for 90 minutes. You just had about 35 variations. Surely there was a shaker at some point, as this one's worked in the direction of Blackman. Looking back there, it was Calagazi. Yeah, the numbers have thrown me here. DK around the 10.
Yeah.
Top's just thrown me out completely waxed. So, sorry, Manoko, he's clearly not here. Sorry, Graham, who's been playing for 30 minutes.
I was going to say, I remember Sean Graham was the starting right back for the statewide cup game, but it was different. It's not bad.
Just made an absolute mess of it.
And on reflection, I mean, what can I say on his Siege Cup?
That's what Google spat out when I typed in pronunciation.
This is why you never trust Google. Probably gave you the Estonian version or something on Google Translate.
Yeah, well, it was certainly wrong. Anyway, back to this one. It's a 2-1 lead to Zebras who really turned things around. The first 15 minutes was all the Warriors. They were battering them, and it was really looking like the league leaders were just a little off the pace, but their confidence has grown. They pounced on a few mistakes, and all of a sudden a few errors have crept into the Warriors game. Here's Cavaretta back to the keeper. It's now them who need to respond. They've turned what temporarily was top spot on the table back to a 6-point deficit. As we followed the ladder live, a foot in from Nellis. Mason came in there and won a critical battle against Johnson. Crawford across to recover the ball though and want someone to present. Eventually found that player in Ashida who looked to chip it for Johnson, but it was really well won by Bowden. And now Berry, a lunging challenge, nowhere near the ball. Should surely be a slice of cheese here. And indeed it is. Tanaka can have a few complaints on that one.
It was right in front of us here in the commentary box, and it was one of the ones that as soon as that foot left the ground, you knew that was going to be a cheese. There was very little chance of getting the ball there. And yeah,
almost got a little bit of it, but
yeah, I mean, still probably a good foot away from the ball at the closest point. So we'll see O'Brien with the dead ball situation again. It's in the direction of Barry, who nearly gets the flick onto Nichols. Another late challenge there, but play on given. Couldn't quite get it to Spanley. Now it's Johnson v Mason. Mason gets the first touch in, but good covering from Johnson. Again, that turn inside from Olympia in the defensive area. Eventually gets it out to Davies. Now it's Naka with a bit of a heavy touch and good pressure again on the Zebras, but eventually falls to Ishida. 1v1 with Nellis down this side. Cuts inside, trying to get on that right foot, but great covering defence from Bowden, who just dropped from that defensive midfield position into centre back. Whilst Nellis went out and covered, so very, very well done from the Zebras on the defensive front, as we'll see Tanaka come forward from left back for the throw-in. And looks down the line, eventually gets it back, now tries to play the ball in, and Cook is pressured again from Ishida, but claims that he'd be a bit wary about that high foot. The keeper having just got a cheese.
As this one's worked forwards. Berry will pick it up for the Zebras. They'd love to get her on the ball a bit. Gives it back to Mason. Now O'Brien. Kanagisa's going to have to work for that. She's not going to get near there. An errant pass out from the back.
Snuck out. Looks like a foul throw from my angle. Admittedly, I had half the pole in my way, but that's good hustle again. I think that's Nichols getting it to TK, and just a fresh head from Bowden. Now we've got a foot race. Ishida versus Nellis gets there first, cuts inside, and just falls to the ground. I think she's after a penalty there.
Yeah, she's not getting one. Great decision to not get one. That was really well defended by Nellis. Scrambled back. She was done for pace, but she still won it. And in the end, I think, knowing the situation was gone, she just flung herself to the deck looking for the decision, but it just wasn't there.
Eventually kind of did the second turn around Nellis, but it was such a heavy touch and skimmed off the surface, it was never going to get to it, so try and win the penalty.
Yeah. As this one's going to be smashed forward by Cavaretta, and that's twice now in the last 30 seconds. We've seen the long balls out from the back, first by Roberts and Cavaretta, so maybe...
I hope that's not a fine.
They're going to deter things away. Well, the way they started early, maybe. But I think it's an adjustment they've had to make. Not every single time. We don't need to start replicating the Zebras NPL team from earlier in the year, but certainly a slightly more direct approach. Might just put this Warriors defence under a little bit of pressure, especially with Nellis sliding in at centre half tonight, having played full back in more recent games, although played centre back for Clarence, as this one is searching there for Blackman. He's surrounded, but somehow weaved a pass beautifully through, and now Ashita tries to curl one from range and would have been much better throwing to Lucy Johnson, who's just making that point, I think, buddy.
Yeah, you could see even probably Lucy Johnson's just like, maybe through here next time as we see that. Yeah, no.
No penalty there. I'm not sure maybe was the word that Lucy Johnson was using there.
Keeping it G-rated for our Slice of Cheese viewers out there.
Hungry for goals, and was the wrong option there for Ashita. It's Cook. Thumps this one long. It's well read by Roberts. Crawford having a very good game in midfield. Turn it over here though. Now the Zebras through Ali Berry in the bullseye. Michael marking it tight. That's a beautiful pass for Kanagiza, who jinks inside, then played the pass, but it was behind Nichols. Did her no favours, and Craw was able to cut it out. But a lovely ball that was from Ali Berry to set them away.
Yeah, could have even let that run. Kanagiza tucked quite inside as that bit of skill has sent Laura Spandler tumbling to the ground, but it's a great covering challenge from Berry, but just a little bit too much of the player rather than the ball, and we'll just get a quick talking to. Chris A happy with that challenge throw down on the sideline. As we see Olympia playing it out again. Cavaretta going for a very storming run through the middle. Beaten 2 so far. Tries to play in Davies with no luck. Michael just drops into centre back for the moment. Sheeta directing traffic. Just a bit of a heavy touch from, I think that's Blackman, and it's out for a goal kick.
It's a lovely ball, that one from Berry, and a storming run moments to go from Ronnie Cavaretta. That's what we like to see, and with Innocent Michael in front able to drop in something perhaps they should opt for a little bit more. You can get Cavaretta involved as Cook ships this one to the Blackman direction, overhead to Michael. Burt punching it down the line, but Tanaka is back there.
Someone in front of us has just ordered $5 chips, and that's it's distracting me.
Righto, well if Funty stops talking, we know why. As this one's worked forward. Burt with a slightly heavy touch. We're one in there by Blackman. Roberts came in to help out. Forward towards Kanagiza. That's very nicely done there by Tanaka. Down the line for Davies, who's going to look to tear him behind Graham here, but let her in with a heavy touch in the end, just when it looked like she'd won the battle. Burt to Taylor Mason, looking to surge off down the left. Roberts tracking her. That's not the tidiest work there from Mason.
No, not quite, but good counter-attack from both teams, using the pace of their wingers and fullbacks. It's been a feature of this first half so far, and both teams are going to continue to use that tactic well into the rest of the match. As we see throwing taken from Roberts. Eventually gets to the feet of Blackman, who'll try to play in. Michael actually leaves it for Tanaka, so ends up well. Davies with a heavy touch. Falls straight to Berry, and Kanagiza just quickly gives that one back to Cavaretta. Plays a long diagonal ball right to the feet of Lucy Johnson. Tries to touch it around. My apologies. That's not, and then that's gone through to Ashita. Eventually one from Mason. Ends up back with Davies, who's taking quite the shot from distance, but Shelley Cook watching that one the whole way and collects rather comfortably. I think she's gone for DK to turn around. It might be heading in her direction. It is, but Tanaka right underneath that one. Back to Craw, who's got two options out wide. Eventually finds Roberts. Trying to play it inside, and Mason eventually clears. Now Nichols turns Cavaretta. DK's just stayed onside, but eventually the foul is given for, I think, a shirt pull by Cavaretta. So Not sure if this will be just too far out for Maddie O'Brien to try that wonderful chip free kick we saw before. I think she'll certainly give it a try.
Yeah, I think you've got to give it a try. Probably is too far out, but when you've got a goalkeeper beaten like that early on, it's still going to be lingering up there in the head, and you just want to test it out. So I'll be surprised if this was anything other than a long-range whack here from O'Brien, and she does swing it goalwards, and Johnson with a safe bare hands. That's a good response from the young keeper there.
Yeah, very good response, and as thought, probably just 5 yards too far out, unfortunately, as we see Tanaka closed down by Berry once again. One's been cleared over the back fence, so new ball needed. So we see Alex Holmes giving out plenty of instructions to the Olympia players. Chewing some gum as well, going for the full European look. Here's Holmesy.
Yeah, the big cuddler. Some good work with this Warrior side this year. With 3 points off the pace heading into this one. Will it be 6? Will it be all square? It's been an intriguing opening first 40 minutes to this one. And still a few more swings to go, I'd have thought. Lovely chip down the line, but Cavaretta is across to cover. So Giza pressuring. In the end, they've done quite well to get the throw in. Olympia will be disappointed with that. And a chance for Zebras just before the half here. And really, they've not had many scoring chances in this game. They've had a careless turnover they converted, and then a free kick, which was opportunistically chipped in. But apart from that, they've not really created much for their 2-1 lead.
Yeah, I can imagine. I think outside of that, I think guess maybe that other free kick and one other shot on goal, so not too many opportunities, but here's another one whipped into the centre, and good header from Roberts, just taking that from Spandler, and the ball played straight to Lucy Johnson. An Olympia counter to Michael, who's got Davies down one side. Also got a sheet of short. Goes that direction and continues the run. Offering feed in the centre, that's good covering. Defence from Kanagisa, and eventually Graham wins it. Back to Kanagisa, who's been battling with Tanaka all night and unfortunately doesn't quite win the throw.
I don't know why Lucy Johnson wasn't played in there.
No.
Just wide open in the centre circle. She's the most technically gifted player in the state. Get her the damn ball.
Yes. I mean, and it's not like she didn't have anyone around her. There was plenty of space. Like, there was no one in about 10 yards.
Yeah, you see her in that situation. She's got to get the ball there, really. Zebras will take the free kick.
Just snuck up when there's only a minute left in the half.
Yeah, it's been an entertaining first 45. It was the Warriors exploding out of the blocks, but this plucky Zebras lineup, they just keep finding a way to win, and they've got themselves back on top as we head towards the halftime break. O'Brien thumps it to nobody. In the end, not tidy, and the flag's up. So, not entirely sure what the linesman call was there. I thought it was initially a handball, but anyway.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be handball anyway, as we see Sheeta and Johnson just getting the wires crossed at the moment. I'm not sure what that flag was for either.
Yeah, I don't know what we've been up for if it wasn't for handball.
It certainly couldn't have been offside.
No, so interesting one. But he was the hero with the penalty, I think, the linesman. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
he's got the credits in the bank as this one's worked forward. And now Crawford looks to get on it, but Kayla Mason was there. Crawford wheels off of her, retreats back to Craw. Blackman the target, reading the intent was Bowden. Now Rani Cavaretta at the back.
There's something fantastic about indirect free kick 8 yards out from the box. It's just something that's not practiced in training, so it's always amusing to see what they end up doing.
There's the Warriors again looking to play out from the back and getting themselves in a little bit of trouble, but they've worked this one well enough in the end. And, it's good perseverance from Graham. Bowden. Now Berry. Well defended by Tanaka. A heavy touch from Blackman though. But in the flashy boots of Ali Berry. And then gifted it right back. And Nellis lets it run for her captain O'Brien. Roberts cut that out. Johnson, Crawford. The key move is getting involved here for the Warriors. And down the line for Caitlin Roberts it is. Made it back, but Crawford hadn't got in there in support, and someone had to, really. The 3 Zebras players, and no one had offered a supporting pass at all.
Yeah, couldn't even play a wall pass, couldn't get an overlapping run to get any space. It was a pure 3-on-1. I think Johnson just slipped after making the pass, so as we see, penalty down the left-hand side. We're into the 2nd minute of added time, and the long shot comes in. Machida to Shelley Cook. I'll watch that one in the night sky all the way. No crazy wind gust, and that's the end of this exciting first half in this Women's Super League match between Zebras and Warriors. 2-1 so far to Zebras. On the balance of play, it's been fairly even from both teams, I'd have to say.
Yeah, I think maybe the Warriors have just shaded it, but haven't had that many clear goal-scoring looks. They've had quite a few pops from range, but really a fairly even contest for the most part, as you say, and the Zebras just taking their chances. They won themselves a penalty and they took the free kick opportunistically. The highlight of the first half, the opener from Johnson, a sublime free kick curling into the corner. And as it stands, the Hobart Zebras have turned a 1-0 deficit into a 2-1 lead at the half. And a very good effort from them after they were in some early trouble. They were being outplayed, but they've hung in there. And as they've done all year long, just find a way. And they're 45 minutes away here. A big 45 minutes for both these sides in the context of the season. It could be all square bar goal difference at the top, or it could be a 6-point gap, which in a league like this, where they've still just been thumping everyone really, save for probably Launceston City, that could be a decisive break. So we'll leave you with the goals from that first half and be back with the second 45 from KG5 in this top of the table battle between the Warriors and Zebras.
All you want in the world, I'll be back. Post and Shelley Cook. First touch of the night.
Around Roberts and now the Mason. Just dropping the long cancel there tonight, Mason. And charging forward. Luke Johnson was there again. Doing some nice work and from the ground played a good through ball, but she got a free kick.
Good advantage.
She got a locker here. It's a fair way out. Good daring out to go over the wall. She does just that and picks out the bottom corner. Lucy Johnson with a superb free kick, and the Warriors take the lead.
Pick that out. Lucy Johnson with a fantastic curling free kick. Almost dead. Shelley Cook almost dared her to go over the wall. As we see, Johnson aim right into the mixer. Shelley Cook will get their touch from Machida, who whips it back in. So cleared off the line there from Zebras. There's traffic there in the middle of the park. It's been very impressive to watch. Up close, that's clearly the foul after the play, but advantage given, and crossfield ball to Johnson, who's made that through ball, but just offside. Manages to dink it around the keeper.
To Michael, volleys it down. Bowden battling with Blackman, one away, but Annie Michael jumps in there. Berry tracking back. Machida, innocent Michael storming through with a bit of space to shoot, and tugs her effort just wide of the post. But she's looking for the direct option. Bit of miscontrol there from Nellis. Might just have let in Bonnie Davies, edging down the wing again. Cuts it back in. She's done well and crosses to the top of the box. And arriving Crawford won't get a chance because Nellis is starting to fall here at KG5, and Johnson swings it in, and Cook fumbles. Gathered the rebound, and cross covering, and Craw wins the battle and wins it well. And took a touch inside. It was dangerous, but got away with it. And watching it closely, fed it through for Annie Michael. Michael's now got the overlap as an important intervention there from Nellis. Had to win that, or they were in that
wing. And that Spanler, who's out there, crosses into the box. Cameretta leaves it for the keeper. that's a foul on Johnson going.
Mate, FIFA, he's utterly corrupt. They won't hear me as Nichols has a chance here at the byline, crossing, and again they've almost created something.
Every opportunity, and again we see Cavaretta immediately closed down by DK, and it's a dicey back by Johnson.
Penalty!
Slides in.
Step up with a chance to square the ledger here for the Zebras. And she does just that. A composed finish for Bowden. And we've got a tight ball game after 22 minutes.
Yeah, good fight back from the Zebras, particularly the last 10 minutes, and Zoe Nichols winning that penalty, coolly slotted on Melissa Bowden. The 4-step run up and up ahead, including one who's in an acre of space. There's also Ishida, who's trying to stay onside, but she may have been off in. This plays past from Olympia, goes straight to O'Brien, and again that forward pressure. Early shot, I think that's been caught.
Tried to volley it over the top of Nichols and make the sweetest of contact. A real falcon there. And there's a free kick, so this will be in a good position. Reflex shot stopper and very good with her feet, but at times has struggled to deal with the ones in the top windows. This one swung in that way, and over it goes, and it's 2-1 Zebras. Just chipped it over the top. Johnson was scrambling, and the Zebras have turned this around to lead.
Absolute psychic there, Andrew Cooley. Perfect chip ball there from Maddie O'Brien. Going back. Oh, and again the centre-back pass. And again from Cavaretta, closed immediately down from Kanagisa, who's still there harassing. Dicey play.
Really well won by Bowden. And now Berry, a lunging challenge going in, the ball should surely be a slice of cheese here. And indeed it is.
Liv Nellis down this side, cuts inside, trying to get on that right foot, but great covering defence from Bowden, who just dropped from that thing on the line. He gets it back, trying to play the ball in, and Cook is pressured again. Sheeta reverse, gets there first, cuts inside, and just falls to the ground. I think she's after a penalty there.
For Blackman, surrounded, but somehow weaved a pass beautifully through, and now Sheeta tries to kill one from range, and would have been much better. There in the bullseye. Michael marking it tight. That's a beautiful pass for Kanagisa. He kicks inside. Then played the pass, but it was behind Nichols.
Eventually one from Mason. Back with Davies, who's making quite the shot from distance, but Shelley Cook at Nichols turns Cavaretta. DK's just stayed onside, but eventually the foul is given for the shirt pull.
If there's anything other than a long-range whack here from O'Brien, and she does swing it goalwards, and Johnson with a safe pair of hands. That's a good response from the young keeper there.
Penalty down the left-hand side, we're into the 2nd minute of added time, and the long shot comes in. Sheeta to Shelley Cook. I'll watch that one in the night sky.
How's it go, fun?
So, welcome back to the second half. The Olympia Warriors, they have been out there and about jumping, doing I don't know what for the last 5 minutes, trying to stay warm, I would suggest.
I reckon that's what that jogging exercise was, because, look, I'd be doing something like that in this weather as well.
I probably would have taken the Zebras approach, just chilling in their own for another 5 minutes.
Have they got heaters in and now, the KGV change rooms?
Oh, I doubt it, but they wouldn't be in their own. So we have a look at that Matty O'Brien free kick, which has the Hobart Zebras 2 goals to 1 ahead. As we head into the second 45 minutes, a very much defining half of football coming up for both of these side seasons. It is high stakes, the top 2 teams in the competition who have beaten everyone else this year, duking it out. The Warriors led 1-0. We're just joining us, Lucy Johnson with a wonderful free kick before a Bowden penalty, and O'Brien free kick got the Zebras back on top in this one as O'Brien thumps it over the top. searching out there for Spandler. Didn't quite get there, and looks like a bit of a formation change perhaps here from.
Hey, we've been caught out with that in the first few minutes of the match before, so
I'm not sure. It might just be the fullback taking the throw in here. But the Warriors have been known to play with three at the back, so it'll be interesting to see. But perhaps it is just the back four, and fullback was out of position taking the throw in.
Often just dawned on me that all the goals so far have been from set pieces, which I think's not that. That would seem to indicate it hasn't been a terribly good game to watch. I think it's been fantastic. I mean, the passing play and the pace of both sides has been a real feature, and it's also just the pressing of both teams that's been interesting. We've seen Olympia still committed to playing out from the back, much in the way that the Zebras are doing right now, as we see that just under hit, looking for Mason. There's Johnson running in. Eventually falls to Davis, who just puts it wide, does Davies. Not too far away, and it's, again, that passing out from the back and that forward press creates another chance.
Connie Davies just flipped on the afterburners here, got clear in the box and inches wide. That was so very nearly 2-2, agonisingly close. And that could well have been a 2-all situation. Just a minute into the half here as Cook thumps it long. Vinnie Michael up against Berry. Graham deflects and might just let the speedy Davies in again. What can she do? She passes back in the end and deflects out of play. Tanaka, she'll get the throw in. So if there is any wind factor, it is favouring this end. The Warriors are going to, and the Zebras had at their backs in the first half. Not overly significant, but a little bit. A little bit of it about.
We both went left our prime position here in the grandstand to go for a walk at half time, and it's certainly a bit damper underfoot than I imagined, but then again not as windy, so we'll see how that plays out the rest of the match, as that's a good sliding challenge from Tanaka out on the far side. And nonchalantly in going up for the throw in is Graham in no particular hurry. DK's also in an acre of space down here on the near side if they can end up switching it.
Yeah, she's just tucking in, which is a little surprising.
I'd be hugging the touchline, but anyways, we see the Zebras lose the ball and Johnson storming through the middle. We've got 4 for company up top and a bit of a slice clearance from Nellis. Yeah. Luckily to roll out of play for a throw, but just got enough on that, just.
Had to make it. Just about did enough in the end there, Nellis. If she didn't win that ball, there were numbers flying in behind for the Olympia Warriors, and a real sluggish kind of start here to the first.
I think they're struggling to warm back up again, to be honest.
Completely fair. So just need something to spark to life here. Although I suppose Davies came close as this one's chipped into the box there. Nellis volleys away. Berry flicks on only as far as Cavaretta, who has her pocket picked here. And now the Zebras looking to burst forth through Spandler charging down the flank. Well done, Vinnie Michael. Won it back superbly. Yeah, just starting to hit the pass a little bit. Looking for Tanaka though.
Yeah, great covering defence from Michael there. Spandler's quick and running down that wing, but great covering defence. On the defensive midders, Tanaka puts in another looping throw in, eventually falls to Olympia. Now played out to Johnson, who trying to go back inside, but unfortunately actually gets it back off Mason. Crosses the ball in, effectively cleared from O'Brien. Balls to the feet. There's a shot opportunity on here, but the same effort, unfortunately, on goal. I think that's Blackman that shot, and Cook just thumps it into the night sky. It's eventually fallen down. I don't think any of the Olympia defenders knew where that one ended up, as that one's just over hit to Michael, but we'll claim it. Mr. Johnson looking to make the forward run, and Mason will just let that one go out for a throw. Let's take it quickly. Don't think that ever went in the field of play. According to the referee, it has, so that will be a foul throw-in. It looked like to me from where that ended up, it couldn't possibly have gone in the field to play unless Kayla Mason's turned into Shane Warne recently, but, you know.
Maybe.
It might be that time-wasting tactic we saw from the statewide cup, is just continually doing throw-ins that don't go in.
Johnson limps back to her feet. I think she's going to be all right. A momentary worry there for the Warriors. She does seem to be a little bit hurt, but is on her feet, soldiering on. They definitely need Lucy Johnson out there if they're going to get back into this one. She shows no ill effects as she just glides inside and sends it across to Rani Cavaretta. Cavaretta marauding forward here at the centre half. She's turned it straight over though to Georgia Burt. And then it's chipped down the line. Innie Michael does some nice work covering in defence tonight. Works it back to Crawl. He retreats all the way back to the keeper. And I'm surprised we're not seeing that furious press of the first half being applied again by the Zebras here.
Yeah, both wingers in DK and Spanler have dropped right off in that situation, which is quite a surprise. Maybe worried about this potential situation of trying to double team the wingers if Olympia's forwards complete that press. So it's an interesting change.
Yeah, I'd be worried about going into protect mode too early. A lot of ball going left here as Crawl picks it up away from Nichols, sends it to Lucy Johnson. Shipped it down the line, but no one there. Cook will come out and collect this one comfortably enough.
Yeah, just even little things like Cook just making use of every single second there. It does seem to indicate they've gone defensive or into protect mode rather early, but no sign of that here as you see Kanagiza with the ball down the wing. Johnson, I think that's covering in the defence there. Yeah, it is. So.
Had to. Kanagiza had plenty of space there on this near side before Johnson tracked back in there.
Yeah, Aaron Roberts just momentarily switched, so it's good tracking back. Certainly paying for that effort at the moment, I think. Good crowd in attendance as well, taking advantage of the inside conditions up there in the viewing platform.
Yeah, it'd be in favour of moving our commentary spot to my office up there as Nichols jinks inside. There were plenty of numbers back, just a blue wall in front of her, and they repel away. Bonnie Davies in a little bit of space. That's always a dangerous area. She's worked it forward here, and now they've got some threat about it as Ashita charges through the middle. Heavy touch from Blackman. Can she track it down, or will Nellis get there first? It's going to be Blackman. Works it to Davies. First time cross. There were two stripy horses back there. One of them was the captain, Matty O'Brien. Slightly heavy touch and then collects Davies. And she's back to her feet, so she's all right. No ill effects. Cavaretta in defence. Ships it forward. And Davies had just gotten back to her feet, so wasn't there to get that one. Here's Ali Berry. Hugging the touchline there. And Michael taking it out of play there. So we have another look at Matty O'Brien just storming through here. And Davies flying at the ball and just ran straight into him. A whole lot O'Brien could do. Came from the blind side.
No. Just the coming together.
Just ran straight to the shoulder of O'Brien.
Yeah, can't do much if you're just standing your ground, which really O'Brien was doing as we see her on the ball now. Just slightly underhit that one. Probably looking for Mason, who's charged forward here, covering defence. Will get there first time. Cuts inside. Does Mason, but again, good tracking back from Johnson, and good one-on-one battle. We've seen usually that with Johnson attacking and Mason defending, but just putting Johnson on the back foot there. That was Mason, who's certainly well rugged up in the long pants here tonight. I'm assuming they're shorts over the top, but might be doing the same as we see Bowden battling down there. Back to Mason, who's got two for company. Wins it again. Now Kanagiza, who's got one inside. Finds Nichols. Got Michael, but offside. Called. You're unconvinced, Cooling.
No, I'm not convinced on that one. I thought she would have stayed on. We'll have a look at the replay here. I thought she just held her run, but perhaps not. No, good call. Good call by the official in the end. Tough with that angle, but yeah, it's tight. And I'm going to say Lucy Johnson, defensive work rate, probably not a strength of hers generally, but it's not something she's known for. But tonight, she's made a couple of crucial defensive plays in the second half, really working hard for a team, and that's what they need when you're down 2-1. And doing some very nice work tracking back in defence. Not really where she's noted to be having the biggest impact on the game, but if she hadn't tracked back in those situations, it would have been prime goal scoring opportunities for the Zebras. So credit to her on that one, as Michael has to make a crucial intervention to take it away from Berry. Kanagisa up against Roberts. Looks to do it for pace. And gets around her in the end. Well done, Kanagisa. She crosses dangerously. Couldn't quite find Spandler. Cavaretta and Tanaka were back for Olympia. It was some brilliant play from Kanagisa there.
Yeah, great play. Manages just to do the knock and run eventually. Pushes Roberts off the ball, and Spandler was certainly coming in at that near post. It's not far away, young Spandler at all. So, again, good high press from the Zebras in this second half. A little bit slow to get that started, but they're certainly starting to do that more and more as we see the ball played all the way back. It's Sue Nellis in centre back, who'll look to return the favour. Should be cut out by Craw, but slightly under hit. Now Johnson again, but it's actually fallen to, I think that's DK with the shot eventually. No? Actually, Georgia Booth, I think. As we see the ball taken down the line, and Mason rather harshly given a free kick against there. I thought she got most of that header out on that robust challenge on Roberts. Free kick called. Good opportunity for Zebras before again just pressing Olympia high up as Johnson's looking to whip this one into the middle. He's a little short, but may get the bounce. Miscued and eventually cleared from Mason just to the feet of a sheet up. He'll turn expertly. Got a willing runner in Johnson, but they'll cut out for Maddie O'Brien. She read that all the way. Did the Zebras captain. As we see this replay again. No, there's not too much push there, and it's kind of ahead, but anyway.
Bit harsh, I reckon.
Yeah.
From, Mason.
I've seen him given before, but
if it was in the penalty box, it wouldn't have been a penalty. There wouldn't have been a foul then, I don't think. But one of those ones further up the field, they tend to blow. And unlucky there, I think, Mason. Who had every right to be competing for that one. Chris Hay just barking out the instructions for just to settle it down. So maybe they are going to protect mode here, the Zebs, and try and sit on this 2-1 lead, or try and get them on the counter should they overcommit as the game wears on. Here's Lucy Johnson swinging a dangerous ball in, and it's Tanaka, I think, on the end of it here.
yeah, it is.
And she's bobbed up in attack. Sets Bonnie Davies a task. He now looks to drive inside and crosses. Will it fall into the path of Blackman? Not quite. Nellis sends to Davies and decided to work it out of there.
Tell you what, Nellis did really well not to give away a handball there. That's one of those balls that just come in, and as you're a centre back, you're prepared to clear it, but it's just come at that awkward height, which is exactly where your hand is. There's not a lot what you can do about it, but it has been given before, so good work there, and then an effective clearance, and Zebras with the throw-in on the far side.
I wonder if the big cuddler Alex Holmes is just considering a sub. Got Olivia Bomford sitting on his bench, who's a very handy goal scorer. And it stays at 2-1 for much longer. Wouldn't surprise me if he pulled the trigger and got the number 9 in there.
I wouldn't mind a 10-minute warm-up, so if I was coming on, I wouldn't mind some advance notice from the coach. It's certainly not a night I wouldn't want to click the fingers and suddenly appear on the field.
No, it's very icy indeed as Johnson.
The tangent of that was I haven't seen any Olympia players warming up, was where I was going with that.
Yeah, fair. You'd imagine they would be. There's Cavaretta. Heaves it forward, but there was no one home there. And Nellis will track this one back. And he's going to leave the throw in. And yeah, they're really content to just try and take the sting out of this game at the moment, the Zebras.
Yeah, it's worked so far for the first 15 minutes of the half, but doing it for a whole 45 against the team that has only lost to you. They've destroyed pretty much every other team. It's a risky move, but Coach Chris Hayes clearly got faith in his players as we see the ball turned over to a sheet up. Now got Blackman in the centre. Eventually falls out wide to Johnson, who eventually closed down from Kanagisa. And nothing happening there from Roberts. He plays it back to Craw, and eventually Mason just hoofs it out there as far as Michael, and Olympia will look to recycle through. Caraveri plays a nice through ball. Just a bit of miscommunication there. Lucy Johnson making the inside run, and it's good pressure. Not sure if he knew Davies was coming across. It was like the flash in covering his Davies.
Well done, Burt. Missing out of Blackman, who soldiered on. And I'm not sure which way that free kick was going there for a second.
No, neither.
We'll go Zebra's way.
I think all the Olympia players thought it was theirs as we ended up with 3 people taking the mythical free kick.
O'Brien eventually takes it. She's got Kanagiza in a bit of space, heads in that direction. Roberts leads in the foot race though. And just stops to knock it out of play. And they can reset in defence. The Warriors will be in no rush as Kayla Mason strides across to take this one.
Just notice Zebras, they've only got 3 players not rocking the arm warmers.
They're a brave few.
Of course, one is solid centre-back Matty O'Brien, and defenders, always the hardest of the lot. None of this arm warmer nonsense. We'll see the Zebras, again, in no hurry to take this throw-in in the 61st minute of this match. Mason, some nice distance on that, but effectively cleared from Roberts. Berry managed to challenge Michael. Nice footwork in the centre, trying to find Johnson, but just sold short. Good pressure from Rashida. Shirley Cook still with time to take a touch and just plays it back to O'Brien. 2 options down this side. Kanagiza just lets it run, but so does Craw, and that'll eventually be a throw-in.
And the Warriors would love to get Georgia Crawford on the ball a bit more. Every time she's got on it, she's looked likely to make something happen as Johnson is robbed here by Zoe Nichols, and suddenly it's the Zebras with a chance to burst forward. Nichols looks to thread the killer pass through. Knocked back for Bowden, but Cavaretta read the intent. Maybe she can take off now. Couldn't get around Bowie though. Did well. Got it back to Burt. Punches it through for an offside Zoe Nichols. And the advantage has been played in the end.
We have a limping, I think that's Johnson limping. We'll cut back to play.
Yeah, she's labouring a little bit.
I wouldn't be surprised if that sub is going to be made. So I actually think it's Crawl with a bit of cramp or something, potentially, but they will continue. Thought Olympia were planning a sub. It's actually just the throw-in taker, so Roberts takes that one down the line, right into the direction of the pole down the corner. Roberts ends up with it again, just a heavy touch. Out for a Zebra throw-in, which going on previous experience, Mason will be in no hurry to take this one at all. Looks down the line at 2, Kanagiza. It's got Roberts for company. Second defender, Crawford, comes along, robs her of the ball. Well tackled there from Burt. Now Cavaretta does very well. The full span luck. Can't quite fool Ali Barry though, and it's going to be an Olympia throw.
Yeah, Cavaretta, not quite the dominant force she was before she left these shores. Hasn't been playing probably long enough, so they just got back into it, but the flashes are there. The class is permanent, as they say.
Absolutely.
Just a few times in this game, there's been those moments.
That's not good.
There's something happened as Blackman has gone down and looks to be in some trouble here. Warriors have got the ball, and I don't think they're particularly keen, but they have to kick it out now, and Blackman is on the deck, and this is not a good sign for them.
It's not a good sign. I was saying when there's no one around, that's usually the worst injuries. Went straight down, just effectively jogging in the middle of the pitch, and looks in some discomfort. Does Blackman.
So play will come to a halt here. So we're trying to figure out how off the ball.
Just went to run to offer support. So I think it was Crawford, yeah.
Yeah, that's the end of Blackman's night, you'd have to think. So I think Olivia Bomford probably the obvious one you'd bring on here. Chuck her on up top. She's good for a goal.
Yeah, look, you want to. We've been talking about bringing Bomford on, but you don't necessarily want to bring her on in this circumstance. Just went down immediately, crutching that right. It was calf, but that could mean knee or ankle.
Yeah, she's in pretty obvious distress there, Blackman. You never like to say that. I think that'll be the end of her night. And Bomford has got the jacket off. She's ready to go. So that move will be made for the Warriors.
Would you think that Bomford will go straight up top and possibly a Sheeta drop back in?
Yeah, that's probably what I'd expect, but we'll wait and see. Pretty versatile attacking lineup the Warriors have, but this is never something you want to see. There's Blackman being escorted off the pitch there by the coaching staff of the Warriors, so Bit of added time now on top of the 25 minutes to try and call one back, but they'll have to do it without Blackman.
Yeah, not the best way for Blackman. They're still can't really put too much pressure on that right leg as Mason.
Nichols and Kanakisa, I don't think he realised they were at the restart.
I thought that was meant to go over the head of Roberts. There's just general confusion all around there, yeah.
So you give it to O'Brien, who presumably was puntless to length, and let the Warriors get back and so
Great bit of limbo there from Zoe Nichols.
Shows off the limbo skills. He's a versatile attacker, Nichols. And now they look to pounce at the back, so just the high fend off there from Eddie Michael, channeling Dustin Martin, and just clobbering Ali Berry in the schnoz there as Bomford looking to make an immediate impact, so that was well cut out. Spandler back to Bowden. He spreads it wide. Cavaretta will see this one out of play. Yeah, it looks like it's just like for like with Bomford playing in midfield at the moment. And this is a chance to in behind here. Suddenly the blink of an eye. It's a Sheeta racing in behind with a chance to level it up. Oh, just past the post. Agonisingly wide. There was a coat of paint in it.
There wasn't much in that at all, was there? Perfectly shaped on that right foot, trying to bend it in that corner, and if it hasn't just nicked the post, it's really close. Cook went down to the ground, and that's not far away at all.
Inches.
See, Billy Cook, take the goal kick, just falls a bit short, and Sheeta on the ball again. Tries to find with an acrobatic shot. I think that's Davies out there on the left wing, but Cook will claim that one. And that's a proper kick out from Cook. Michael manages to get the touch. Berry now tries to play forward to Spandler. Oh, just beat Michael to the contest. And unfortunately, the KGV sideline then beats her, and it's Olympia Warriors throw in. 67th minute mark of this match. Another 20-odd minutes for Olympia to try and get the equaliser. They've certainly looked the most promising in this half, especially through and Sheeta. We'll see Zebras on the ball now through Nichols. He's back to Spandler. Side to Bowden. Now Graham, who a little pressured there from Davies. Keeps it in, but only as far as Michael, and Cavaretta just showing that class with the dummy clearance. Unfortunately, Michael just plays it to nobody in particular, and it will be a Zebra's throw, which Graham will take. Eventually falls to the feet of Spandler. Got Berry inside. It was a nice turn to get away from Michael. Eventually plays it back to Bowden. Now Graham. It's a risky pass. And O'Brien will just thump that one, and it's a nice flick on, and Kanagis is in here. Goes the first time shot on the run, and it was harmlessly wide, but in a situation at the back where they've nearly given the ball away. 2 touches, and they're in the box.
Took a nice deflection into the path. Didn't think about that one, Kanagis just decided to whack it first time on the left. He was taking a touch there, but they've turned it over here, and it's Georgia Bird who squared it just behind. Nichols did her no favours. Now lays it back for Berry, who didn't make powerful contact at all, and Johnson will get across there. And just a couple of looks here for Zebras with a chance to kill the game off perhaps, but unable to do so.
I'm all from playing out from the back, but when you got 2 defenders against 1 down in that quarter and the only option is to go back to the goalkeeper, it's prime for a mispass.
Yeah, really playing with fire there. Not just that, just dangling a can of kerosene over the top of the flames, really, as Kanagisa up against Roberts. That's been an intriguing battle throughout, and Kanagisa wins this round and then sends a beautiful ball over the top for Spandler. It's just going to pick up a bit of pace and send it 2 wide in the end, though. Berry's in support. She decided to go herself and ran straight at Tanaka, who defended it really well and kept it in too. And worked it to Michael. Skips around Berry, works it to Bomford, and she's off here. Innocent Michael storming through the middle of KG5, then went the direct option. Oh, that wasn't terribly convincing for O'Brien.
It's almost like the deflection from O'Brien actually put them under more pressure.
Yeah.
Just made Cook come out that little further. I'm also surprised they didn't play in Davies down on the left-hand side. Great pace. That's another good option there, as we'll see Roberts take the throw in. That's a very unattractive face getting in the action of KG5's commentary box. And we'll see the ball back to Cavaretta. Essentially doesn't quite get to anyone in particular, and now falls to Berry for Zebras, who'll again play it to nobody in particular. Cavaretta has got Spanler for company out wide. Tanaka tries to play the wall pass with Davies, but falls back to the Zebras. Georgia Burt on the ball now. He's inside. Just waiting for that one to come is Roberts. Risky with how well Zebras have been pressing, and slight miscue there from Mason. Chris Hay trying to be the sporting man and get the ball back as quick as possible.
So what he's thinking there, Chris Hay? What are you doing, son?
He's been in the game long enough now not to be doing that.
Yeah. Unless he was hoping to kick it away. I don't know what he's thinking with a 2-1 lead.
Try and nutmeg the Olympia player.
Here's Davies, or Bomford rather, who's just on. What's she going to do? She jinks around Mason, who had some support from Bowden. Kept it in, working at tight corridors there, but they've done well. Claw at the back. Played it to Lucy Johnson. And she goes to Rani Cavaretta. Wide for Tanaka. Direct pass, Ashida trying to get on the end of it. Just eluded her. The Japanese imports combining there. 20 minutes, plus you'd have to say probably about 5 minutes of added time to come here.
There's going to be a fair bit of that this game, and Shelley Cook just with the awkward bouncing. Ball falls to Kanagiza, who can't quite make enough contact on it. Through ball again. And that's got to be keeper's ball, and now is a good time for Shelley Cook just to put the foot on it and slow the tempo down a bit. Olympia clearly trying to play all the through balls in behind the defence, and Cook with a bit of a miscued clearance right to Lucy Johnson. Not the first person I'd want to be delivering my goal kicks to as an opposition player.
No, not exactly who you'd want to be picking out, as Ali Berry duels again with Michael, and she's fouled her. A bit stiff there, Michael. He's had a good game in midfield for the Warriors. It's been a fascinating battle between those two tough customers. And going at it all match.
Yeah, despite that one forward run from Michael, I do think she should be dubbed Innocent Makalele instead of Michael, because that's the exact role she's been playing tonight and doing it well.
Scores too many goals for that Bunty. Just loves a goal, doesn't he? As this one's a nodded forward, laid back for the aforementioned Makalele / Michael / goal scorer. Well, she's shown a bit too much of it there. Got a little shove from Zoe Nichols, who's really clever with that sort of stuff. Here's Cavaretta, sauntering forward through the middle of the ground. Works it forward now for Ashida. Michael. They're really pushing up now. Everyone in the Zebras half. Long ball over the top. Repelled by O'Brien. Not convincingly though. Taken down and volley just over the top by Ashida. And that's, again, a good goal scoring chance.
Gilthead's chance there. Ashida took the touch and just hit it as the ball was rising, so in combination with leaning back, it's always going to go over the bar.
O'Brien probably doing well just to put her off a little bit there too, but a couple of chances they've had and unable to take it. Remains 2-1 Zebras. The gap remains 6 points at the top of the table. Olympia haven't got long to change, and they've not got the teams in this league to take the points off the Zebras.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I see another sub from Olympia. Just, there seems to be a few tired legs out there that have done plenty of running here tonight.
Getting pegged
just
back
a bit of a
deep,
spark.
aren't they?
Yeah.
Although they're off here perhaps. Cavaretta's got to marshal this one. Zoe Nichols pressuring her. In the end, safety first and just hoofs it away, and Bonnie Davies almost tracks it down.
Oh yeah, it's not necessarily a reflection of any of the how good a game any of the players had. It's just general tiredness. I think they all played their part. It's just you need that bit of extra zip in the last 15 minutes. And I mean the Zebras certainly have that in spades on the benches. Michael nearly plays a gorgeous through ball, but and we'll play it back into the centre back crawl, who's got Roberts out wide. Ends up just hitting it right into Kanagiza, but eventually gets it back in the direction of Ashida, but well cut out. And now that long ball, and Nichols is in here, covering defence from Cavaretta, will just send her wide. Got Berry for support inside if she plays it now, which she does. Touch from Berry, looks for the corner, and Ellie Berry makes a 3-1 Hobart Zebras. Beautiful counter-attack from the Zebras, and that's nearly game over.
Oh, that could be a very decisive moment. It was a Route 1 football, just heaved over the top. Two defenders seemingly had the situation under control. Nichols took it wide, was patient, and then laid it back for Berry. And Margot Johnson, I think, would like to have that one back in net too. Not a bit of it, couldn't keep it out. A soft one there. 3-1 Zebras, and they're looking like they're about to go 6 points clear on top. And a substitution in the offing here. That'll be the end of Nichols' night as she's just set up the sealer perhaps. She'll be replaced by Morris. And with a 2-goal buffer, she'll head off pretty happy with life. A pretty important assist, that one, from Nichols. And
yeah, almost as good as this assist the assistant referees giving the referee doing the shoelace up. Yeah, that's the kind of cooperation we like from our referees.
Yeah, camaraderie there, but the Warriors, they had numbers back to deal with the situation there on that goal. They had the numbers in defence and they just let Berry scythe through them. She made no mistake.
Don't know if that's just us in our prime position here in the grandstand, but you could just see Berry making that straight run through the middle, and it just needed the right weight on the pass, which was delivered. So Nichols off and Morris on, and it appears to be Spandler who has gone right up top at the moment. And we'll see what Olympia can do. It's Michael on the ball, got Roberts outside. Eventually gets there, and Mason just cuts it out. Found a very willing runner. I think that's actually Norris. So, very, very good pace there from the sub. Eventually Cavaretta gets it forward to Sheeta. Dummies that. Shelley Cook in a foot race with Davies. Davies, one of the fastest players in the state, but Cook just does enough. Now Annie Michael plays it back to Craw. And Crawford now to Roberts. Lisa Johnson's got some space here in the middle, but tries to go down the line towards Roberts. Cut out by Mason. Now to Bowden. Now to Berry. Nice touch, but well read from Craw. Now in the centre of the park. Nice move from Crawford, but Georgia Burt, playing as that defensive stopper, does well. Picks the ball back up, and they're in again here. Now the Zebras, 1v1. Craw trying to get back. Keeper coming out, just gets there in time. Not too far away again on the counter-attack was Sarah Morris. Olympia now with 15 minutes effectively to save their seasons. All ball given away to Burt, who'll look wide in the Canagisa direction. Got two for company in the box. One of them's Norris, and well cut out from Roberts for the corner kick. Just got the body in front. You see that touch again, the foot race between Norris and Craw, and the keeper just comes out in enough time. You'd think on a dry day here at KGV, it wouldn't quite skid as much there. Zebra's in no hurry to take this corner kick. Haven't got a short option on at the moment. A little too early to start playing for the corner flag, but we'll see what they can do from this corner. It's whipped in near post, over the head of Craw, and cleared off the line by Olympia. Bumped back in, but hasn't gone that far, and Ishida picks it up. Now a bit of a counter-attack on this right-hand side. Now to Johnson, who's got options in the middle. Well cut out there from Nellis. Now to Bowden, who's got Berry in advance. Morris was in an offside position. Johnson, a very nice touch to get the ball down. He's it inside, goes for the return pass, but can't quite get there. And the fresh sub Norris will now try and beat Roberts for pace. Easily gets in there, but Tanaka, a great covering defence there from left back.
I reckon Lucy Johnson's struggling out there. She's grimacing a bit every time she's finished with the ball. I think she is showing some ill effects from a knock she took a bit earlier. And just wonder if we're just sticking her up top on her own and just going, look, just get in the box if you can't run. Just see if you can get on the end of something, because she is holding her side every time she's not in possession of the ball.
And as quality a player, there's no point having someone on one leg and where you've still got...
Oh, see, I think it is if you get that one leg in the penalty box, Bunty. There's one swing of it.
You and me differ.
Well, one swing of it and then swings off it. Oh, just over the top there from Bomford. nearly catching Shelley Cook out. Just over the bar there. That would have been some goal. It was dipping. It had Cook scrambling. I think she had it covered. It looks like a substitution is in with the offing here for the Warriors. And it looks like Madeline Black might be introduced here. Whereas for Johnson, we'll wait and see. Roberts wins that and jumps in, but Kayla Mason did really well. Oh, no, infringed according to the official. I thought she did really well.
I thought she did really well as well. Yeah.
And this is why you don't sub Johnson off, because she can step up here. Doesn't need to be able to run, to just go whack from 30 yards if she's allowed to stay on. I think they're preparing to sell her.
No, and it's not looking... Oh, I thought that was going to be Crawl coming off.
It is, in fact. So Crawl replaced now by Black. And no one's... right, eventually I think Johnson's going to head over the ball. But
I think so.
So Black replaces Crawl. And I think Lucy Johnson eventually going to take it. She's a long way out.
Pretty much nearly the spot where Manny O'Brien scored for, only a couple of yards further back.
So what's Johnson got? She drives it to the back stick and it's over the top.
Clearly trying to replicate that goal from Manny O'Brien before as well.
Just trying to stand it up in the corner there, but not today.
Yeah, 10 minutes left for Olympia. They really have to get something out of this. Whilst a draw isn't ideal in this situation, you take it. They're going to have to pull out something pretty special here. Zebra's defensive unit's been pretty resolute all day. Just that fantastic free kick from Johnson. The only thing that's pierced the defence so far is that goal kick's fallen straight to Michael. Back to Black, who's going to nearly find Tanaka desperately sliding in, trying to keep the ball in play, but no luck there. And we had a very nonchalant jog there from Graham to retrieve the ball from the far corner. We'll do just enough here not to get done for time wasting, but it's certainly going to take her time. I'll probably also try and steal a few yards as well, as is custom from throw-ins. And done so effectively. Very short. Ends up not quite making it there, but Burt will get it. Now DK just trying to make that forward run and feed off Spandler's work up top.
They've themselves in a good spot here, Zebras. They're not going to play anything terribly expansive at this point. And the Warriors had a couple of looks, but haven't exactly been thumping the door down in this second half as they chase the match. Berry takes it wide. Vinnie Michael did some very good defensive work today, but just not been able to break through. A pretty resolute Zebras defence, and a lot of credit to their midfield, I think, as well. The likes of Bowden and Burt just sitting in front of the back four and doing a really good job there, making life tough for the playmakers in this Warriors side. As the throw-in is taken in the Kanagaisa direction. She heaves it down the line, sets a task for Spandler. Tanaka with the left foot, just clears that one out into the creek.
First one that's ended up down there for the match.
Might have just stayed in.
Fortunately, it's also occurred the first time we've had a person over there, so we may actually get that back in under 5 minutes.
He would be a brave soul sitting on that side of the ground tonight, I reckon, Funty.
I did notice that the throw-in before that someone had appeared, and that was my first thought as well.
And in fact, brave is probably a very generous adjective. As this one's picked off well by Georgia Burt, sends it inside. Spandler wasn't anticipating it. Cavaretta can carry it away. She sends it to Roberts, who's pushing up here. Johnson in front of her, but she's not moving terribly freely. She tries to make a bursting run for her now. And Roberts will eventually head in that direction. Lucy Johnson jinks back in nonchalantly. Centering ball for Rani Cavaretta in space. Threading it through, but it's broken up all too easily there. At the back by Graham. Here's Michael. Thinking her way through this, eventually squares for Cavaretta. Cavaretta just under-hit it a little for Roberts, who went the back heel in the end, and Mason was diligent defensively, as she has been all night. Not a lot has got in behind her down this Zebra's left flank. And defending very nicely. Bonford just turned that one well, and then it's picked up here by Ashido, who jinks into the box. O'Brien defended it superbly, and then Mason came in support, and together they see it away. Crawford Centering ball for Bomford. She's had an impact since coming on the sub. Innie Michael with the left. But just wide of the post.
So far, this game has been the great wall of Maddie O'Brien. Nothing has got past her all match, and that was a great exhibit of that there from Ashita. Touches on the right foot. Could have gone either way, but O'Brien just comes across. Effectively clears that. Haven't got too much longer now, Zebras, to hold on. As we'll see Cook clear it in the direction of DK, but just slightly under hit.
Yeah, I gave O'Brien my 3 votes in the final, and I think if I was voting on this today, should be right up there again. Been absolutely outstanding at the back, and of course, has the goal that separates the teams at 2-1 here. A game that looks like it's going to be settled from set pieces.
Yeah, just the one goal from open play, which is a surprise. We'll see Michael on the ball. Makes Cavaretta. He's just got a sea of Zebras in front of her. Now DK in a foot race with Tanaka. Eventually gets it. There's 2 options in the middle, but I'd be surprised if this aims for the corner flag, and Tanaka does well to take that out for a throw.
Well played by Kanageza, and it was Georgia Burt again breaking up the play at the other end. She's done an absolute mountain of work in midfield today. Defensively, it's been fantastic as Bonnie Davies looking to just expedite the throw-in process a little. But there's not much they can do at this point. There'll be a few minutes of added time, but we're ticking ever closer to another Zebras victory. They just keep on winning games of football as this one's centred. Johnson will collect. They're looking here to make it 12 from 12 in the league. Here is Roberts. Sauntering forward. She's run into Georgia Burt though, just trying to do a bit too much here, Roberts, and just wondering where the passing options were. And there's a lot of finger pointing and a lot of arguing going on from the Olympia Warriors right at the moment.
Yeah, it's certainly happening down this right-hand side. And even when they do get it there, you've got that defensive pressure of Mason and then Bowden and then Burt. And there's only one willing runner for this one. That's what happens when you're a fresh sub. We've got Morris on it looking for inside ball. Eventually cleared out to Cavaretta, who's got options down this right-hand side. Finds Roberts. Olympia playing with 4 up top at the moment. And the outstretched leg of Maddie O'Brien gets there. With a bit of skill again, and Morris is in an acre of space. Down this side, 1v1, all could go to the corner, looks inside. Falls back to it, and just wide. I was expecting the offside flag to come up there, which is why I wasn't calling that one, Terry, but not too far away from Morris. That really would have been the clincher.
Yeah, if it isn't already. And once again, Georgia Burt sending them away. Had a superb game in midfield, Burt. Just got the head up, knocked. Tremendous through ball. Here's Tanaka. Time quickly becoming an enemy of the Warriors. And they're not looking overly likely either. They're throwing plenty of bodies forward, but they're not getting it to them. As Davies controls the defensive half. Now looks to switch it forward, but that's going to be broken up. It's all breaking down for them here, Olympia. It's becoming rather disconnected, and if they can slide Kanageza through, wrong option. She's gone for Morris instead there. Spanler needed to play in Kanageza. Lucy Johnson back in defence here. Scrambles it away. Now Roberts. Oh, Mason with a beautiful challenge. Saw it away. Just storming game. Now they sit off, so she just waits and then plays it to Morris, who curls it. She was offside though, Morris.
Every single one of us up here in the commentary box was gesticulating wildly to get that ball to Kanageza on the right-hand side. It was in an acre of space, but eventually no harm, no foul as we tick over into the 90th minute of this match. Back to Morris, who's got Roberts for company and eventually wins the throw-in. Ella Mason's been taking her time with throw-in since about the 50th minute, so I don't think this is going to be in a terrible hurry. Throws it in the direction of Morris. Michael and Berry in the centre of the park. Bowden cutting off all the angles down this side, so eventually looks wide. Finds Davies eventually, nice pass. Davies now 1v1. Has Tanaka on the overlap. Goes in short, but again, very well cleared there from Nellis. If O'Brien's been the great wall, Nellis has certainly been just as great a wall here tonight. As you see, Cavaretta, Zebra's defending really deep. As Olympia just got the one player sitting in the centre circle and the goalkeeper, and everyone else is in Zebra's defensive half. And that's going to be a ball to nobody in particular.
You've got everyone up top and you can't get it within 20 yards of someone. That's a bit of a concern, I'd have thought. But 3-1 into stoppage time. This is game over now. The Zebras going to continue their remarkable winning ways. They just keep winning. And set to do it again. Set to open up a 6-point gap at the top of the table. This was a big test for them. And again, it looks like they're going to come up trumps. They've been fantastic. The Zebras, they've taken their chances. The Warriors have had plenty of the play, but they've not done a lot with it. And Crawford has infringed there. It'll be a free kick, and there'll be absolutely no rush here. Just eat up a little more clock.
Yeah, and I think Barry's just giving that instruction as well. Take your time, and then once we take it, get it wide to one of the speedsters.
Yeah, just O'Brien now will swing it in there. Roberts read it well, got there. Johnson will have to go back before they can go forwards. And all the way back, in fact. Tanago Johnson in the goals. And goes right through the hey-diddle-diddle. And they'll spread it wide. Now perhaps they can make something happen. Davies in space. They pick her out, and Nellis out to company, but she jinks inside and surges onto the right foot. Davies just lacked the finish. The pace was there. She's so explosive, but the finish was not. That's been the story of the day, or the night rather.
Yeah, just leant back a tad. Did Davies. Got in a wonderful position, but yeah, just leant back a bit with that shot.
Caitlin Roberts might have been wondering where the pass was too, but look, if I've seen a striker surging in the box like that, there's only one thing on their minds.
Wouldn't have even noticed she was there.
No. Wouldn't have noticed anyone, I don't reckon. Eyes only for the goal, and quite entitled to take the shot. Just couldn't quite execute it. We're not far away now from another Zebras victory. A big blow for the Warriors' title hopes. And Shelley Cook will just heave this one long and strong. Black heads it forward. There's Michael. Cavaretta. Poof. O'Brien should eat this one up though, and does. Volleys it away perfectly into the path of Kanagiza, who's got a wide open Morris. But eventually finds her for a little deflection. Bowden. Berry. Fresh airy. Cavaretta. Back to Michael. Now into space for Tanaka to bomb onto. Across comes Graham. Tanaka looks to take her on. And Graham does really well to fight back and win the ball away from it, and win the free kick, in fact. A few, I think, thought that was the final whistle and just getting very excited, but not quite yet.
Well, I mean, Barry was out there giving the round of applause to defensive companions, so why not the rest of the grandstand? But I put up with a bit of cramp here eventually. Nice ball delivery there from Davies, but no point in hurrying up now. We're in the 93rd minute.
Yeah, I think they're out of time now, the Warriors.
Yeah, certainly all the people on the Warriors bench are up and ready to run out and celebrate.
Celebrate. That'll be a curious decision from their bench, I'd have thought. Plenty.
Zebras, you know, whoever's down here in front of us. Yeah.
So, here we go, kick. Free kick rather, taken deep. It's time just about expired. Burt plays the 1-2, and then it's heaved out of there into the middle. Crawford got a foot to it. They're all pressing up there. Should be space out behind if Mason can win this battle with Roberts, who ended up doing pretty well for the Warriors. She's battled hard, Caitlin Roberts. Hasn't quite had the support she's needed at times tonight.
Cheeky from Mason as well.
Absolutely love that from Mason. That is top draw from her. That was very cleverly done. Crawford, who started strongly. Lucy Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson on the ball. Actually finds the Sheeta, who's got it right back. Actually can't even get it in her own half. It's a great press from Zebras at the moment. And two Olympia players collide into each other, and somehow Roberts ends up with it. And a Sheeta for company and just fires it in. To Bowden, who we're going to get a dead leg from that one. expert commentary coming from our expert, and that is full time.
So the Hobart Zebras do it again. They take the points in a huge top 2 matchup here. Maybe a pitch invasion might also just be the Zebras seniors boys starting to warm up, but a win worthy of a pitch invasion, I think, boys, because that gives them a 6-point buffer at the top of the table, which could yet prove decisive. They make it a perfect 12 from 12 in the league. I think it's 19 in a row all up this year. A phenomenal side, these Hobart Zebras. Probably didn't even have the best of the game for large parts tonight, but they took their chances, they defended superbly, and once again, they are victorious. That was Lucy Johnson's opener that had the Warriors a goal to the good early. In the first 20 minutes, it was all one-way traffic. They were under siege at the back. They were superb, but then a rather undisciplined act at the back led to that penalty opportunity, which Bowden dispatched expertly, putting it into the bottom corner. Then Maddie O'Brien, just with a cheeky little effort. And the set piece coming up here. Just knew the keeper was a little bit susceptible to the high ball and went, I'm just going to put this top window. Johnson cheating off a line and bang, chipped. Very nicely done for Maddie O'Brien, the best player on the pitch tonight. Again, she is in inspired form, the Zebras captain. That made it 2-1. And really from there they sat back and defended for the most part. But unfortunately, Warriors couldn't conjure much, and then Zoe Nichols just took this one down, and stationary, unfortunately, was Craw. Wasn't awake to the threat of Valleyberry. She should have been. She sealed the points there. 41 to Hobart Zebras. We'll take a short break and be back with the NPL fixture. It's these two teams about to duke it out in the PS4 NPL Taz. We'll be back shortly.